Welcome back to episode number 2. A few hours have passed since the last video. We are now in the 33rd year. Let's see how many species have survived and how many faced extinction. "30 species of plants have survived so far. Creatures weren't so lucky, only 8 species remain. Lots of species faced extinction on the first generation. Some managed to reproduce but still failed to survive. In this ecosystem only the fittest will survive. So let's take a look at the survivors. In our first ecosystem we have 1 species of plants and 2 species of creatures. Let's find out if they've developed a survival strategy or if they're just lucky. Creatures haven't developed any specific genes yet, so I'm guessing that most of nearby plants won't have poison or thorns genes. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's take a look at the plant that this group is eating. The plants in this biome haven't faced extinction because of a few factors. The herbivores have very inefficient mouths to eat plants. The plant is slightly hard to chew because of toughness gene. Omnivores hunt nearby creatures. About the creatures, they haven't faced extinction because the plants haven't developed any deadly genes like poison or thorns. The omnivore population is too small. Let's take a look at the next ecosystem. This plant started with poison gene. Poison creatures will take damage over time and have a reduced view range. This yellow creatures has no antidote gene. If they keep eating this kind of plant, they will become blind and probably die. Let's take a look at the orange creature. This orange creature has antidote gene rank 1. The brain gene also mutated. Let's see what changed in the neural network. This is a non-logic. This means that the top output that increases speed will trigger if both inputs at the bottom are false. So, this creature will move faster if it's not winter and if blue meat is in view range. Another ecosystem. Since there are no creatures in here, I'm guessing this one have a deadly combination of genes. And I was correct. Poison, thorns and toughness all together. If you're wondering that plants will just max all genes to the max, then you're wrong. Most genes reduce growth rate and reproduction rate. This plant species took another path. Healing, the higher regeneration helps them to survive. However, only healing might not be a valid strategy in the long term. Newer generations are already gaining other types of defensive genes. Let's take a look at another ecosystem. This ecosystem took another path, thorns and healing. Newer generations are also developing poison. That's why this ecosystem isn't behind devoured. Let's check out this white plant. Poison and toughness are keeping this species alive. Now, let's take a look at the genetic statistics. On the left side is the median rank of each gene at the beginning of the simulation, and on the right is the current value. If you're asking me how those numbers are calculated, let me tell you. It is the sum of all genetic ranks divided by the total population. As you can see, the poison value of plants increased by 5 times. This caused an evolutionary pressure on the herbivore population and forced them to develop the antidote gene. Herbivores' toughness also increased, because plants, thorns and carnivores cause an evolutionary pressure on that gene. Carnivores on the other hand lost all ranks of the antidote gene because they really don't need it. Since they don't eat poisonous plants and only get slightly poisoned from eating rotten meat. Lots have changed in 33 years, but let's continue the simulation to see what happens in a very long run. In this ecosystem only the fittest will survive. See you in the next episode.